again, everybody. It's Todd Sturridge, the horror nerd, here at the Horror Sideshow Flea Market in Allentown, Pennsylvania. One of the things I like about these smaller events is I get to spend more time with everybody, especially here in the vendor and author room. People at these conventions tend to gravitate over to the celebrities, and I feel that the vendors, the authors, the artists need some love too, and that's why I'm here. And I get to stand here with another one of the authors, Mr. Tucker Christine. Tucker, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, before we get to your work here, you said something to me that I blew my mind as I walked over. You said, I think I know you because we have a mutual friend, Rob Dimension, and God, it's got to be, 10 or 12 years ago now.
So with the pandemic in there, it's hard to tell what time it is anymore, but yeah, it's been a long time. But he's been out of Pennsylvania a long time.
Yes, exactly. He's North Carolina, but we have a mutual friend, Rob Dimension, who started this club called the PA New Jersey Horror Club. We would meet in the back room of a comic book store in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, and watch indie horror movies and talk about them. Some really great stuff. And I'm walking by and I think I know you, and because of Rob Dimension. So thanks again, Rob. I reconnected with somebody back from those days. So, man, those were the days. We had some fun. So, Tucker, why don't you introduce yourself to the fans and tell us about your Dracula stuff?
So my name is Tucker, and I'm the editor of Dracula Beyond Stoker. We are a fiction journal that we publish about twice a year anthologies using Stoker's characters from Dracula for short stories.
Very cool.
Each issue has about 10 to 12 new stories. When I can, I throw in a nonfiction piece and a reprint that's at least 10 years old. And every issue so far has also ended with a poem.
Nice. What was the genesis? So, what made you decide it was going to be Stoker?
So I have been obsessed with Dracula since I was a little kid. Remember the Scholastic book fairs?
100%, right?
So when I was in third grade, they sent out the catalog for the book fair, and there was a copy of Dracula listed in the thing, and I saw it, and I don't remember why, but I fell in love with the cover for some reason, and I decided that's what I wanted to get, so I saved up my money. I went down on the day of the book fair to buy it, and I was told that book is only for the 7th and 8th graders. I wasn't allowed to buy it.
Oh.
So I didn't buy anything, and I went home, and my mom took me to B. Dalton Bookstore, and we bought Dracula. I have since learned that the copy at the book fair was adapted for younger readers.
Okay.
And the one that I bought in the store was the actual
real deal
version. And it's understandable why they would say it wasn't for younger readers, but I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I was an advanced younger reader. I was reading everything.
Myself, me too.
You're probably like me. We were reading Stephen King at 8 years old.
Yes, exactly. Stuff that I really should not have been reading.
I read the books of Blood when I was 10.
Oh, God. Okay.
So it really didn't scar me. It actually carved out a life path for me. But we happen to live in Philadelphia, or I happen to live in Philadelphia, and we have the Rosenbach Museum in Philadelphia, which the Rosenbach, if you don't know, they house the notes that Stoker took while he was writing Dracula. It's a little over 100 pages of handwritten notes of what he had laid out. And there's some stuff that didn't make it to the book and some stuff that did, and it changes. And I would go there all the time because I was obsessed with this book. And when the pandemic happened, they were looking for ways to keep people engaged. They started a virtual program called Sundays with Dracula, and they called me up and asked me to be part of it. So for 27 weeks during the pandemic, every fourth week I was a co-host on this Sundays with Dracula. During the course of that show, one of the viewers asked if there was a list of all the stories that other people wrote using Stoker's characters. We researched it, and there was not. So by the end of that week, there was. I started a database called Dracula Beyond Stoker, and it still exists today. It's at DraculaBeyondStoker.com, and it's a never-ending, ongoing list of all the short stories, plays, and novels that people wrote using his characters. Cool. But when the database got to the point where it wasn't a daily job anymore, I decided I wanted to keep it going, and I put out a submission call to people to see if people were even interested, and they were. And Dracula Beyond Stoker started, and it's been going ever since.
That is awesome. Listen, and the whole Dracula in particular, but vampires in general, remains insanely popular. Have you seen the new Nosferatu?
I've seen it 3 times already.
Right, yeah, I saw it twice. It's amazing, right? It just never dies, and I find that awesome. And I was going somewhere with that, and now it lost me, folks. It's been a long day.
Well, the beautiful thing about this book is each of the main issues is based on a particular character. So the first issue is all stories where Dracula is the main character, but then we move to Renfield, and Renfield's not a vampire. So yes, it's a Dracula book, but it's not necessarily a vampire book. And I actually got asked that by customers all the time. It's like, I don't really like vampires. Like, well, there's stuff in here for you. And another thing about Dracula is everybody comes at it from a different angle. So you got fans of the Coppola movie that are looking for the romance.
Right.
You got fans that are looking for the straight up horror. You got the Mel Brooks fans that are looking for the comedy. And as I'm reading my submissions, I'm looking for something to appeal to each person in that field, you know? So there's humorous stories in there. There's romance stories in there. There's one of the most disturbing stories I ever read in the Renfield book. So, you know,
All right. So tell everybody, before I leave you be, tell everybody how they can get the books and how they can follow along with the stories.
So, like I said, the DraculaBeyondStoker.com is the database. So that was already taken when I started the magazine.
Okay.
So DBS Press is the press that I started to make it. So it's DBSPress.com. is where you can get the books. If you accidentally go to DraculaBeyondStoker.com, there is a link to take you to the magazine. But
fantastic. Tucker, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time. I enjoyed hearing about it and just reconnecting over a mutual friend. You still watching the indie horror movies?
I am all the time.
Awesome.
I'm really waiting for Companion. I can't wait to see that.
I saw it yesterday. Wait, today's Saturday. No, I saw it on Thursday. Definitely see it. It was good. And I saw Presence.
I haven't seen
Steven Soderbergh. And that was filmed in Cranford, which is a town next to mine. Excellent movie. It's not horror per se, but just a really good ghost story. So definitely see it.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Tucker, thanks again for a few minutes of your time. I wish you success with it. Tucker, Christine, everybody here at the Horror Sideshow Flea Market in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm the horror nerd Todd Sturut signing off. We will see all of you in the next interview.